Today's subject is super important because today I want to talk to you about the number one killer of growth and expansion in business. And that can affect you at any stage of your business. Very often it is present from the start, from the get-go, and it actually prevents a business from getting off the ground. But also it can creep in whilst you already have an established business, and it kills the momentum, it kills this expansion, and it kills something else. It actually kills joy and pleasure. So if we can tackle this one killer of joy, expansion, and growth in the business, your trajectory will literally shift. You ready? You are listening to Soul Business Alchemy, the podcast for conscious entrepreneurs, quantum creators, and new wave leaders. Hosted by me, Riya Loveguard. This is where energy meets strategy and business becomes effortless, magnetic, and wildly profitable. So here is what actually kills growth, expansion, but also joy and fun and pleasure in business. Rigidity and following a script, a very rigid structure, and sometimes, dare I say, strategy. And this is very subtle thing because we need structure in business, and I'm the first to say that. But when structure becomes the kind of cage rather than support, this is where it happens. And look, for example, at the plant life. I'm big into gardening. You can see behind me, I live in a beautiful, lush, tropical paradise. And how plants grow, sometimes they like to have a bit of a support. So if you have a small tree, or if you have some tomato plants, you put a trellis or you put like some stick, etc. But when this support becomes like a cage, or for example, if the pot is too small, it stifles growth. So you need to have a really good balance between a bit of support, a bit of structure, but not to a point where it kills the joy. And I see this at literally every stage of business. And I'll look into the energetic reasons why it happens and how to stop it, because this is literally killing your business. And it's at times been killing my business. And I tell you something, this episode is totally unscripted. I haven't got notes. It hasn't been planned. And this is quite the opposite of the killer of expansion. It's flowing straight from source. It's flowing straight from my heart. It's something I woke up this morning, and as I was in the shower and drying my hair, this is what dropped in, that thought that I need to record this podcast. And this is what we call inspiration. This is very important in art, but also in a new era business. This is that quality that allows us to kind of like exude our own brilliance, to exude what we're actually good at. So I can talk to you unscripted about this subject because it's almost like channeling. I don't need a teleprompter, I don't need notes, I don't need a script, because it's embodied, it's deep in my heart, and it's something I truly want to share. Now, what could I do this morning? I could have done million other things that I'm supposed to do. So right now, as I'm recording this episode, I'm 1 week away from starting the 6 months program of Radiance. So we're still in enrollment period. I've got, sales calls. I've got kind of a webinar tomorrow, which will be promoting this last webinar in 24 hours, promoting this 6 months journey. And I could do a million things that I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't know, do something that would lead to the webinar, last minute push, etc., etc. But this is not what kind of is in my heart in this particular moment. because inspiration does not run on schedule. And the thing is, once you give yourself a schedule that is so rigid, that is so stifling, which it may not seem like that. It may seem like, oh, I've got a content plan, or I'm following a strategy from a mentor. But when you don't have this feeling, this kind of like inspired feeling, when you wake up in the morning, it's like, this is what I want to share with the world. It's not what I'm supposed to do, or I'm supposed to post 3 times a day, or I'm supposed to book so many networking events. That literally does not actually translate to business growth. And I've seen it over and over again. So let's now look into why this happens. Well, it happens because we have been conditioned that discipline, that being kind of on schedule, that doing the right things and ticking the boxes will bring us results. But if it did, you would already be there. It probably does to a degree, but it brings limited results, not exponential growth. See, exponential growth in business, explosive growth, something where literally your business takes off, it doesn't run on schedule. Energetically, it's those moments that are unscripted, unplanned, where we get a chance to expose ourselves to the unknown, to open ourselves to the power of some higher forces at play, is how inspiration happens. There's a beautiful book about this that I recommend you read called The Myth of the Objective. And it's about why this kind of creative, explosive power cannot be scripted. And it shows multiple examples of discoveries, of breakthroughs from science to music to any kind of area and discipline, where that space in the middle, where that unforeseen is actually what leads to growth. And, we don't have to look at things like how a music genre has been created by accident, by some people just jamming, or where discoveries such as penicillin has been made by accident. Those accidents are the universe's way of expansion. Whereas we are so rigid and so conditioned to this patriarchal way of thinking of grind, hustle, discipline. And if we do A, B, and C, we get D, E, and F. And what I see in business, where I see this incredible growth trajectory, is in those spaces in between. I remember a few viral videos of myself, my husband, my clients. Each single one of them had something in common. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't following the list of how to make a viral video in 5 easy steps. Okay, you've got a hook, you've got this, you've got that. It was this kind of energy that was behind it, because it's the energy that you put behind your business, that unscripted brilliance, your soul's essence, that will push it forward. And the minute you put yourself on a schedule, on a content plan, on a launch plan, and everything is so stiflingly scripted, is where inspiration literally dies and the business growth dies, and that energy that's got a viral potential, that's got a potential to push your business forward, will also unfortunately die. And what dies with it? It's your pleasure, it's your joy. And it's that kind of feeling that I get, not that I get to do things, but I have to do things. Oh my God, I have to do another TikTok video, or I have to record this, or I have to do that. Apart from this will probably bring you less results because of the energetics I talked about, it will also have almost like a secondary horrible effect, like a secondary side effect, whereby you will feel like I'm doing things that I don't really want to do, but I should be doing, I'm supposed to be doing. And then that will leave you in a place of, oh my God, I am not satisfied. It's not what I want to do. I've done it. I kind of tick the box of my list. And it will grind you down. So then it will be less of this inspirational energy flowing through you. So on one hand side, you first of all, you didn't follow that kind of joy. You didn't follow that spirit. You didn't follow what actually brings you fun. You did something that actually doesn't bring you fun, which brings your energy level and inspirational level even down, and it creates this vicious cycle and vicious circle. So there is a good energetic reason to actually let the inspiration flow into your business and into your life. And the other energetic reason is that it's very difficult to quantify that X factor or charisma or that resonance that you can create. It's very difficult to quantify that. It's just there. And it's the kind of ability to speak with passion, with emotion, sometimes even with rage. And we get that in natural contexts. Whereas when we sometimes put a camera on or open a Word document and we try to write things down, it just doesn't turn out the same. That energy is gone. So how do we capture it? First of all, is to believe that you have it. Believe that you've got something interesting to say, that you've got something interesting to communicate, to share with the world. And that it is not an obligation. It's a privilege. It's something you get to do. It's something that social media allows us to do in modern day, which, perhaps there were some brilliant, talented people, whether they were some discovery makers, whether they were brilliant light workers, but they never got the stage that we get now. And what do we see? Well, we see that social media becomes a bit of an obligation. No, it's a platform. It's an opportunity. So see it like that. Number 2 is to literally allow yourself to get rid of the script. And I've seen this recently in a few coaching calls inside the Soul Business School. And also when I was working with some clients last year in Radiance, where basically people were so afraid of how they're going to come across, of whether they're going to sound professional enough, that they resorted to either scripts or teleprompters. And they said, well, I'm looking at myself at this video. I've recorded it. It was my original voice. Yes, I've written it down. It didn't come from like AI or anything like that. That's a separate subject, by the way. That is also a killer of essence. But anyway, this was written by me. I put it in teleprompter to kind of sound really good on that, 60-second video. I'm watching this video back and I absolutely hate it. That was one client. And the other client was, okay, I'm doing it and it just feels a bit like dry. Like it doesn't have this kind of, people don't connect with it. I feel invisible. So if you actually take that away, you will have your natural expression. And that first client who said that she hates watching her videos back, the reason wasn't how she looks or the message that she's giving across. She said, it just feels unnatural. That's not how I express myself. When I talk to a friend, it's not like that. And I really don't like that kind of person. I said, look, you have to get rid of the teleprompter. Just allow yourself to do what you meant to do. And this is just in content creation. But the equivalent of teleprompter in bigger business terms, not in content creation, could be that you need to follow certain steps in order to achieve X, Y, and Z. Because that's what business strategy says. Because perhaps some mentor told you this is how we do high ticket sales. You do this. Or maybe someone said to you, you need to book 10 calls a day or DM so many people because that's how you show your commitment to your business. That is literally a killer of growth. Please don't do that. You become robotic. You become like something that you are not by your own design and by your essence. And just like in art, you of course need to have skills. You have to have the kind of, ability to express yourself through it. But the skill doesn't make art. Inspiration does. And it's the same for business. If this episode activated something in you and you're ready to build real momentum, Soul Business School is where this work goes way deeper and becomes your reality. It's my business expansion membership for soul-led entrepreneurs who want to scale with strategy and energetics without burning out or forcing what no longer fits. Inside, you'll get access to monthly live momentum coaching calls, high-level business trainings, real-time energetic recalibrations, as well as a private community of multidimensional entrepreneurs who simply get it. This is not a course, it's not a copy-paste formula, it's your space to grow in alignment, in community, and in momentum, month after month. You find the link in the show notes, or you can visit riyaloveguard.com to step into the field. Inspiration is your helper, and discipline, rigidity will actually stop you from expressing this. And this is basically all I've got to say to you today. Please follow your soul. Don't follow the script. Please allow yourself and allow your soul to shine its essence and its brilliance, because ultimately this will be what will make that connection between you and your ideal client. That frequency, that resonance that cannot be scripted, that cannot be running on some tight schedule. Please allow space for that. Allow space for structure to a degree that it supports that essence to shine through and not beyond. Allow the structure to be like a skeleton, not like a cage. This is my message to you today, and I'm leaving you with a question. How could that work? How could that look in your business this week? What would you drop if you didn't have to do it? What would you stop doing if you didn't think that I'm supposed to do that? And even bigger question, what would you do instead?